a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break.
Yeah, my background super messy because my basement got finished today. So
like the back rooms?
They put the pump in so it shouldn't flood anymore. It's got wet cement in my office and Sarah Ray's office right now.
Okay.
And now there's a really ugly pipe going up my wall, but it's fine because once I'll finish the room, I can make it look good.
Nice.
But yeah. So that's why everything looks messy and stuff. But
everything's out of yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm dealing with right now. So oh god.
Marvel Snap, okay.
No, so my mic's just sitting here.
Yeah.
Because the oh god. That part right there snapped off where it like latches on, so it's glued right now. So my room's a mess, the one I'm in, but
that's all right. They sound good.
That's
you look
okay.
good. That's what that's good.
I picked the jersey that like my favorite leader is on this team. The starting QB is like yeah, man. I can make more shirts too.
We can just go shirtless.
Yeah. I mean, if Kirk O'Thuggins can do it, then
why can't we?
Adam Schefter can do it, then why can't we? Let me mute that.
All right, we're back. Welcome to the podcast.
You sound so much better, man.
I'm alive. For those that don't know, we were gone for a couple weeks because I was in the hospital with 4 separate illnesses attacking my lungs at the same time.
One for every inch.
So for the previous episodes, for the streams anybody saw where my voice was gone, yeah, I've had this all for over a month apparently, and it's just been growing and growing. So if you don't feel good, probably should go to the doctor because that's what happens if you don't. And it's going to seem kind of like it's not relevant anymore, but it is. Today's episode is about Black Adam. And we want to talk about it because we did see it, but we never got to do our discussion on it. But it's still relevant because it just surpassed $300 million. And that is a lot. I saw some people making jokes that it wasn't good. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's one of the highest of the year.
Because the critics, well, I mean, Warner Brothers only had the money to put out 2 movies this year. But no, it's good for DC. They're obviously it's not hitting like $1 billion like a Marvel movie will.
Or Top Gun.
Or Top Gun. But it's good for them because it wasn't bad by any means. I know you and I went in there and we knew the action scenes were going to be good. We knew the post-credit scene was going to be good, and we knew that the plot was okay.
And I was able to avoid all spoilers.
Yeah, which was nice. Yeah, I wasn't because I'm on the Twitterverse quite a bit. Not verified, but I'm on the Twitterverse. Anyway.
Well, do you have $8?
I do.
Okay, well, you can get verified.
Yeah, let's go.
You can be
the blue check. Let's go.
Blue check. We could make the Glaziar Gambol verified.
We could. Yeah, $8 a month.
Will I? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But we could. Yeah, see, when I go high pitch there, sometimes my voice still breaks. That's all right. That's all right. They said I'll still be dealing with repercussions for at least 3 months.
Sure. That's a short time period at least.
But you're right. It was not bad. It was not like the best, but it was probably better than Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah. I mean, from our perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The action scenes, like you said, the action scenes were good. That's what everybody was saying. That's what all the critics were saying. I do think that The Rock is limited. Like, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Just like Dave Bautista, just like a couple of these like popular John Cena. These guys are good actors,
John Cena,
but they're limited in what they can do.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they tried to push his limitations, but they purposefully didn't go over the top.
Right.
Because he just couldn't. Like,
if
if they wanted to give the Rock like a chance to push his limits, they would have gone way further into his backstory.
Right.
Which was terribly foreshadowed, by the way. Like they made it like there was like the whole like twist that he wasn't the kid, it was his son that got the powers. It was like, nah, it was pretty obvious from the beginning that it was his father.
Right. Because it didn't show him at all. And then all of a sudden the whole beginning was about some kid.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make sense until it made, I mean, yeah, you could. It was
one of the trailers, like the earliest teasers talked about, like mentioned they killed my son.
Right.
And so
my son sacrificed himself for me, something like that.
So if you had seen that, you knew from the beginning.
Right.
So for something that's supposed to seem like a twist, they did a very bad job at that.
Right.
But I still liked it. I still thought it was. I don't know. There was a couple points where I saw people comparing Dr. Fate to Doctor Strange or Mr. Fate, Dr. Fate, whatever. Dr.
Fate. Yep.
I think that's a stupid comparison. Like
it's you can't compare these two universes because Marvel's established and DC isn't. So you kind of like have to take DC as their baby steps. You like have to take the baby steps of DC, whereas like Marvel can take risks and take leaps.
Yeah.
So I take Dr. Fate for DC, and I'm sure they took a little bit from Doctor Strange, like the Doctor Strange when he multiplies himself, like Dr. Fate did that same thing. Like that's a really cool scene. So like DC being like, why can't we do that? Or like why?
I like that they did a little fan service when they had Dr. Fate like. Do his thing, which is from the meme. Like I don't remember asking.
Yeah,
like they had him do that, which little fan service is always okay. I don't know if they wanted you to hate Hawkman, but I hated him.
He was like the
he's a dick.
He's like Captain America. He just kept coming, like just never gave up.
But it wasn't in the same like it wasn't in the same like knock me down, I'll come back up. They made it be like it was more of a doesn't know that he's gonna just get wrecked. Like at least Captain America put up a fight. Like Hawkman wasn't even putting up a fight.
Oh yeah, Black Adam's like S tier strong. So like Hawkman's like B tier strong. Like it's there's not really close. It's not really close. So
I think the introduction of Atom Smasher and Cyclone, what's her name? I'm trying to think of her name, but
it's probably Cyclone. Yeah.
It felt very similar to like Deadpool with Negasonic Teenage Warhead, where they kind of introduced these characters where it was kind of like a soft introduction where it's not like, oh, if the fans react well to this, we can put them in the future. If they don't react, we don't really have to keep them anymore.
Sure.
I saw some people to compare him to Ant-Man, and I was like, no, like stop comparing. Like I know you're not going to be able to.
He's got the Deadpool mask though. Yeah, he's got the snarkiness of Deadpool. He's got the powers of Ant-Man, but it's like I said, it's its own thing.
Right. And he felt like a just kind of like a, if I were to describe him as a label, like the frat boy, like college frat boy. Right. What he seemed like.
Yeah. I didn't think they were, I think you could have taken both of them out of the show and it would have been the same. They would have been like the same for me.
Yep. The only reason you had them was to change the action scenes. The moment where he was like holding Black Adam down, like take those away. You
can't have the Justice Society with two people. Also, like that. Just so I get it. I mean, I get it, but like you're right. It's Negasonic, super cool power set, right? Like insanely awesome power set, but then like utilized to like blow a giant piece of metal at somebody in the first one. Like that's essentially. So
used to maybe help push the plot a little bit, to help be like that extra little stitching for keeping the scene together. That's basically all they were
to get blasted by Fire Fist and then have him say Justin Bieber, like to get that quip in there.
Yeah.
That's so That's essentially how I saw those two.
And that's what Adam Smash, that's what they were like. They got their ass handed to them a couple times. They got a couple like snippy comments. Hawkman and Dr. Fate were able to say things to them. That was basically what they felt like.
Right.
I did like the story overall. I think they kind of fell short in a few points, but that's going to happen if you do a shorter runtime. That's just gonna be what happens. The background was cool. The satanic dude at the end was sick.
Yeah.
I like the design of the character.
Sure.
And the overall fight, it wasn't confusing. It wasn't overly dark. It wasn't like hard to follow, which has been DC's problem, has been like, I can't follow the fight scenes. The lighting is literally like this. Like you can't.
The meme where DC movies are like camera action and they skip the light. Like camera action. Yeah.
And that wasn't a problem in this one. There was a little bit of that problem when he was getting put into that submersion tank. That scene didn't need to be as dark as it was, but it's fine that it was, because it's not like it was over the top. He's for sure coming back, but I will say my biggest problem with Black Adam was, why is Shazam like just giving all, like, just like people have, like, I would rather have Shazam be the only one with his powers in his own movie.
I agree. And someone tweeted about this the other day about, he's like, I think the Shazamily is a cool idea, but it's better if Shazam is just the guy. You know what I mean?
And now you added another one with Black Adam. It feels just like another part of the Shazamily.
And if it was just Shazam and Black Adam, that would make more sense, because Black Adam is typically the Shazam, like a Shazam villain. They got the same outfit. Their lore is very similar with all the mages. But it's the Shazamily,
like the same mage that gave Shazam his powers was there to give Black Adam his powers, and imprison him.
Right. And the Shazam, I could do away with the Shazamily, but we'll see what happens after Shazam Fury of the Gods or something like that. I think that's the next one coming out, but we'll see what happens.
So that's probably my biggest problem with it, is it's another Shazam. He's got the lightning bolt already. I know a lot of people didn't like the Black Adam costume, or like his outfit. I don't have an issue with it. I think it was fine, but like as soon as you implement the fact that lightning bolt is from Shazam, now I'm like, okay, let's do something. That was my biggest problem. I think they did develop his backstory well. The non superheroes, like the teenage kid in the movie was awesome. I think he did a really good job.
The mother as well.
She did a really good job. The uncle did a really good job. Like, I think they all did a really good. The villain, they all did just a good job playing their part. It was just kind of the same thing DC runs with, where they have good actors. They do their job the way that they're told. It's just that what they're being told is kind of what's not perfect. Like they played a 7 out of 10 role, as they did a 10 out of 10 job playing a 7 out of 10 role.
Right. I think that's the problem with. It's usually the plot and the story that kind of holds everything back. Like, for instance, Wonder Woman. The first Wonder Woman was amazing. Like, when I remember, I don't know if we talked about it way back in the day, but I know we've talked about the DC universe before, and I think we both kind of shared similar thoughts that we thought that Wonder Woman should have kind of taken the lead because of the success of the first Wonder Woman movie, and you would have done something different than Marvel before Captain Marvel came out.
Yep.
And so, like, you would have you had the successful female-led movie. Now have the female leader before Marvel can do it.
Yeah,
and
have
so,
Wonder Woman lead Batman and Superman, and that would have been such a good call.
And then Wonder Woman 84 just bombed because the story sucked. So, and then Aquaman's good. So, like, Aquaman is another one of those where it was probably like a 10 out of 10 role, or a 10 out of 10 job in like an 8 out of 10 role. Like, you know what I mean? Like the movie. Whereas like Wonder Woman was like a 10 out of 10 job in a 9 out of 10 role. And then Wonder Woman 84 was like a 5 out of 10 role. Like it's just
Right.
it falls off because they rush it or they don't have a story in place for their big universe. And I'm hoping that's what James Gunn and Peter Safran can come up with. So
I think a perfect example is Birds of Prey or just Harley Quinn in general. It is a 10 out of 10 job playing a character that's getting written 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 lines and movies. Like, it's rough.
It's putting Harley Quinn in a role that Harley Quinn's we're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like the independent Harley Quinn, I guess, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't appeal to the majority of the fans. Like I didn't like Birds of Prey at all, but I loved parts of what Harley Quinn did. Like when Harley Quinn got like high on cocaine and then just beat the shit out of everyone. Like that's what I think Harley Quinn is like the crazy, I don't know. So
yeah, I agree. She should be crazy and she should be murderous, like should go nuts. I just think they could do a better job at and now they will. They have James Gunn at the helm. James Gunn's first thing, just which redid Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn. Did really well.
Just the next wave of the Suicide Squad. Yeah. And then Peacemaker. Obviously, Peacemaker has been crazy good. Yeah. Like everyone loves Peacemaker.
Which Peacemaker brought in Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, so we can bring Peacemaker into the movies.
Yeah. So yeah. And then so what we comment is like the plot was okay for Black Adam. The action scenes were badass. He can see things as fast as Superman can see things. Now I don't think he can actually move as fast as Superman,
because
speed wise,
because they sent Superman to deal with him because they believe Superman can beat him if needed.
So like Amanda Waller showed up with a little like device. Black Adam's chilling in Kahndaq or whatever. I think it's Kahndaq.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she's like, you stay here. If you leave, we'll have a problem. If you leave Kahndaq, we'll have a problem. And he's like, nobody on Earth can stop me, or nobody on this planet can stop me. And then she's like, well, we'll send somebody not from this planet. Yeah. And then he's like, whatever, blows the transmission thing away. And then you see Superman fly into the smoke and walk out. And he's like, Black Adam.
And it's Henry Cavill, man.
Yeah, and it's Henry Cavill. DC then ran itself into a same problem that Marvel often runs itself into is you don't want the post-credit scene to be the only thing people talk about in a movie. Right.
Which luckily for the first wave of people that watched the movie, like that initial surge of like 100-some million, 200-some million or whatever.
Sure.
They all talked about the action scenes. Like the majority of people talked about the action scenes and the fact that it's The Rock in another successful movie. And then the second wave that pushed it to 300, they've been the people that are pushing Henry Cavill, Superman.
Right.
Where is Black Adam going to go in the future of DC? Which is what I want to know. Like, what's going to happen with Black Adam now? Is the next time we see him, is that going to be the next Superman movie? Which it was announced today. We're recording this on November 10th. It was announced today that the next Superman is going to be
Man
a
of
reboot.
Steel 2.
It is not going to be a sequel. They will be going back over his origin story.
Sure.
So will it be going through, will he be in Man of Steel 2? Will he be, or will he not be until the next group thing? Will he be in Shazam 2? Will he be in Aquaman? Where is he? Is he going to be part of the Flash when they reset everything? Because I don't know if you saw, they are planning on Ezra Miller.
They don't want Ezra Miller. Yeah, they want Ezra Miller to be like the one-off.
Yeah.
So which they can do. Like they can reset. Flash can reset stuff, and Barry Allen can be no more because you got Wally West and you got other Flashes.
And the issue is apparently that Ezra is still signed on contractually to multiple movies, so there'd either be a contract termination fee or like Ezra could say like no, like and fight them on it.
Right.
So there's some tangle that's going on with the Flash. So it's like, will Black Adam show up there? I want to know because they're making him seem like he doesn't want to be involved in any of this stuff.
Sure.
But he does.
And you've got projects
freedom.
like you've got Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2 right down the pipeline. They're going to be next year. So, and Flash, I believe, is next year, but who knows with that? I still think they're figuring out what they want to do, but
yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that. That's the biggest. The Flash is the biggest question mark, and then it's what characters are going to introduce now? Because I mean, Dr. Fate. Spoiler alert: Dr. Fate dies.
Yep.
So it's like you can't bring back Dr. Fate. He was one of your more like detailed characters that you could do a broader variety with. You kind of took out a character that you would have been able to do a lot with, which I don't think was necessarily the smartest move. Because like Hawkman, it's like, what are you gonna? Oh, he's just a super sick suit, and he's a good fighter.
Right.
Atom Smasher just grows big.
Yeah. Atom Smasher and Cyclone or whatever.
I think
I want to say that I saw something about James Gunn. James Gunn commented about the Green Lantern thing, and he wants that to focus on Jon Stewart rather than Hal Jordan and forgot the other guy's name.
I'm excited because they said that they're all the creative minds on DC are getting together and writing a Bible that is going to follow the movies, any video games, any TV shows, and they're gonna all have to go refer back to this Bible of DC.
Like it's probably like keeping like canonically. Yeah.
Like if this actor is used for this, then this actor should be in everything. You don't need this guy to play Flash here, this guy to play Flash here, and this guy to play Flash here. Don't forget that guy playing Flash over there, and then one guy playing Flash in the future.
Right. Yeah.
And then it probably
that's why I mean like Barry Allen and then Wally West. Like that's how you can reset your Flash.
Exactly.
But you got to stick with Wally West then. Like you
have to stick like through the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Static Shock is DC.
It is.
Look, yeah,
it is. It's a DC product. Yeah.
Static Shock. You need to like. Whether people want to call it pandering, wokeness,
Blue Beetle,
whatever you want to say, like you need to move forward with Static Shock because not only do you get the nostalgia, which has been proven to make tons of
Michael
money,
B. Jordan helming it, I believe.
But you also have a black lead, and like you get a black lead and you get nostalgia. That's money and success. Like that is huge. So you move forward with Static Shock, and then I think
Blue Beetle
was huge.
Yeah,
Peacemaker.
His costume build. Yeah.
And you have to, the Green Lantern universe, just like what we've talked about with Marvel and Hulk, and how like now that we know Hulk has a son, there's a chance we go to Hulk Planet. We can expand Venom. We know they can expand in the Venom universe.
Right.
They need to take these mini universes. If their goal is to squeeze all the money out that you can.
Oh yeah.
Green Lantern. We need Green Lantern. We need Pink Lantern. We need Yellow Lantern. We need all
Sinestro.
You need all of it. You need to expand all of it, but
just start with Jon Stewart.
But you just start, just like you don't start with Justice League. You have Batman come up first, then Superman, then Wonder Woman, then you have all those come on individually,
Aquaman,
and then come together. You don't release them all together and then say, okay, now we're going to tell you who these characters are in the next movie.
Right.
And they just now, so we have Black Adam is his own solo. Now we can put Black Adam in a group. We can put Black Adam with Superman. But now, if they're really redoing Superman's origin story, if Black Adam's coming in Superman, we can't have the next Superman start with Black Adam. We need Superman to start with his origin and then maybe end with Black Adam, or in the middle he meets Black Adam. Like, don't. The
Shazam can work in this universe too, because you can say the timeline for Shazam is different, but at the end of Shazam, he has there's Billy Batson, who is Shazam, and then there's like the nerd kid, his brother, or his brother, right? And the nerd kid constantly is like, I know Superman, I know Batman, I know Shazam, and nobody believes him because he's the nerd kid. But then at the end of the thing, they have like Shazam show up, and everyone's like, oh my God, you do know Shazam. You've been saying you know Shazam. You do know Shazam. And then all of a sudden there's a Superman walks in and Batman walks in, but you don't see the heads. Yeah. So like that could be Henry Cavill. Like that could be Henry Cavill in that scene. That could be Ben Affleck if that's who they want to go with. But yeah, they have to fix their timeline, and that's probably going to be in the Bible.
Yep.
But
they've got a lot of work ahead, but I think Black Adam is a really good start. And I don't know. So what would you give it out of 10?
Well, I feel like 6 is too low.
Yep, I agree.
So
because that feels like a fail.
Bad. Yeah. I don't know, probably 7.5.
Yep.
Probably, like I think that's very respectable. I don't like the action scenes alone is like it was super cool. So
because like if the action scenes are a 10 and the story is a 5.
Right, 7.5. And the post-credit scenes a 10 too. So it's I don't know, 7.5, 8.
Right.
8. I mean, 8 feels too generous.
And 8 feels too high.
Right. So 7.5.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Like
if somebody told me they gave it a 6.5, I'd be like, I can see your argument. If somebody gave
but then
it 8,
I would retort,
I
would respond. I'd respond with like, what'd you think of the action scenes? And then if they're like, oh, they were good, then I wouldn't like trust, because I thought that was where they like excelled. Because like in Justice League, when everyone's trying to stop like Black Superman, when everyone's trying to like stop Black Superman, he like Flash is running behind him and Superman's like holding off people, and then it's like he sees in slow motion.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Black Adam did. Like it was almost like a Quicksilver around the that one like kitchen scene where he's running around the thing, and then all of a sudden like time catches up and then everything just explodes. Like
gold.
That's what I envisioned.
Apparently Family Guy did that scene.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They had Meg run slow motion around the living room and like did a whole bunch of like Quicksilver stuff. Funny. Yeah, so I think it'd be fair. If I were to grade it, I feel like I don't like doing the whole like, oh, you got it like 7 point whatever, but I feel like that's 7.2. Like if I'm gonna do decimals,
sure.
If you're telling me I have to do a 0.0, like no decimals, I'd be sooner to give it a 7 than an 8.
Right.
So I think that 7.5 is fair. Yeah. So about that 7 or 8 out of
7
10.
to 7.5, sure.
And I think that's respectable. The amount of money it made is about that range of movies that you get. Yeah, I think the action scenes propelled the plot and the story, which is not, your action scenes should be that like seasoning on your meal, but the entree, like the actual thing you're eating, should be the story.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so when the action scenes are the entree pushing it forward, it just feels a little.
It's like a burger with everything on it, but the meat tastes so good, and the rest of the burger is like, but like the meat, is like really good, and that was Black Adam.
Like empty, and after you ate it, you were still hungry.
Right. Yeah.
Because it wasn't filling enough. It wasn't satisfying enough.
Sure, I feel that.
And so. Yeah, so it was good. And if you wanted to watch a good movie and you've been waiting to see a good movie, maybe you didn't like any movies this year, Top Gun maybe is not your thing, maybe you don't like Tom Cruise, Black Adam was worth a shot. I'd watch it again. I think that's usually the sign of
I told my girlfriend, I was like, when this comes out on HBO Max or whatever, because we use someone else's like HBO Max, but whatever. I told her, I was like, you would love Black Adam, I think. Like I think she'd love it. So
yeah, it doesn't always feel like a superhero movie. It definitely feels like a superhero movie, but it doesn't constantly. You're frozen right now, and it's at a very funny position. All right. Hopefully we get Joe back here. Luckily, we finished all of the conversation that I wanted to get through. And he's back.
Internet connection is unstable. Yeah, you froze for a second. I was like, wait a sec. What was the last thing you heard? Sorry.
Oh, no, I heard all of it. It's just you were frozen. And I was like, you're frozen at a very funny spot right now. And then I was like,
you were too. You were like,
I was like, well, we got through everything. So if we don't get Joe back, so we did. We get through everything I wanted to talk about. Everything that we wanted to cover, I think, was good. I'm glad that we were able to come back in and still talk about something because Black Adam is still relevant. Next week, we have a couple ideas of whether or not we're going to talk about. We either want to talk about either Werewolf by Night or all the changes that are going on in DC with James Gunn, Henry Cavill. So if you guys
Jason
want
Momoa,
if you want, we can put in like a poll. I usually put a poll in on Spotify, but we can always do like a poll on Twitter as well. Just see what you guys want to listen to. If you'd rather us do Werewolf by Night, there is a secondary documentary on Werewolf by Night that would just give me a reason to watch that. So we can either talk about Werewolf by Night or we can talk about the DC stuff, but you guys let us know which ones you'd want to talk about. For those of you that made it this far, because sometimes like most people, their viewership drops off by the end like this. For those that did make it this far, you're the people that care the most. So please let us know. And then if you aren't subscribed and haven't liked it or anything like that, or haven't shared the podcast, please do all of those things.
Yeah.
Because this is what we want to do for a living. And the more people that listen to this, the more likely we are to do this all the time. And that's what I want to do, is just talk all the time about fun things. We don't necessarily have to go full Joe Rogan and talk about everything.
Right.
If we were that, this week would have been about Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Yeah.
Which we slid that in there with the blue checkmark talk at the beginning. You want to know?
We hit some things.
What,
we're relevant.
What the sign language is for the color orange?
Show me.
Yeah, you like squeeze, like you're squeezing.
Like an orange?
And then, but you like do it kind of here and towards yourself.
Okay.
You like move your hand towards yourself as you squeeze. That's orange.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned that because my daughter is we're teaching her colors. This is red. It's red. So I'm trying to learn all these different colors. Yellow. So,
hang loose.
Yeah. Yellow. And just like this is Y in sign language. Yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. Learning stuff. I would love to learn more sign language. Anyway, side note. Again, like, subscribe. We can send nudes if that helps. And
it won't.
It won't, but you'd be amazed that the human anatomy can get that small. There's the cough. All right. We'll see you all next week. You all look great today. GG.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget